Subway is one of the most recognizable restaurant brands in the world. Statistically, most people watching this video are only minutes away from a Subway location. If you suddenly felt like ordering a classic Italian BMT or a buffalo chicken sub, chances are you wouldn't need to travel far. In fact, some of you might even be inside a Subway by the time this video ends, watching your sandwich being assembled exactly the way you want it. That level of accessibility didn't happen by accident. Since 2002, Subway has had more locations in the United States than any other fast food chain, consistently staying ahead of giants like McDonald's and Starbucks in sheer store count. At one point, Subway operated over 27,000 locations in the U.S. alone. But here's the surprising part. That number has been shrinking. In 2016, for the first time in the company's history, Subway closed more locations than it opened. Since then, the total number of restaurants has dropped by nearly 1,000 per year on average. Customers began drifting away. The brand's reputation took repeated hits, and the company was forced to make major changes just to stay competitive. To understand how Subway ended up here, it helps to look at how it grew so large in the first place. Subway's rise was built on simplicity. Unlike most fast food restaurants, Subway kitchens don't rely on grills, fryers, or grease traps. There's no deep frying, no heavy cooking equipment, and far fewer operational hazards. That simplicity translates into lower costs, smaller spaces, and easier setup. And that advantage goes all the way back to the beginning. In 1965, a 17-year-old named Fred DeLuca wanted to earn money for college. His goal was to become a doctor, but his summer job at a hardware store wasn't going to cover medical school tuition. A family friend, Peter Buck, who was a nuclear physicist, suggested opening a sandwich shop. Buck invested $1,000, and together they opened a small store in Bridgeport, Connecticut, called Pete's Super Submarines. The company was officially named Doctors Associates, a reference to DeLuca's medical ambitions and Buck's doctorate in physics. Early advertising caused confusion, with customers mishearing Pete's Submarines as Pizza Marines. To fix that, the name was shortened to Subway. DeLuca eventually earned enough money to attend college, where he graduated with a degree in psychology. But the business had already taken on a life of its own. After nearly a decade, Subway had grown to just 16 locations, far short of DeLuca's original goal of 32 stores. To accelerate growth, the company embraced franchising. That decision changed everything. Opening a Subway franchise required far less capital than most restaurants. Smaller spaces, minimal equipment, and simple operations made it accessible to a wide range of franchisees. All a location really needed was electricity, water, and foot traffic. That allowed Subway to appear in places most restaurants couldn't: gas stations, hospitals, airports, college campuses, and even inside other stores. This approach explains how Subway became the most franchised restaurant chain in history. But scale alone didn't build the brand. Subway also mastered its messaging. The company positioned itself around three core ideas: freshness, value, and health. Freshness was visible. Customers watched vegetables being sliced and placed on sandwiches in real time. In 1983, Subway began baking bread inside its restaurants, an unusual move for fast food at the time. The smell alone became a marketing tool. The word fresh appeared everywhere: menus, wrappers, napkins, signage. It was impossible to miss. Value came next. From the beginning, Subway emphasized affordability. But nothing cemented this reputation more than the $5 foot-long campaign. The jingle was simple, catchy, and impossible to forget. The timing was perfect. The campaign launched just before the 2008 financial crisis, when customers were becoming more price-sensitive than ever. Subway became synonymous with cheap, filling meals. Health completed the picture. Vegetables reinforced the perception of healthier eating, and Subway partnered with high-profile athletes to strengthen that image. But the most influential campaign centered around Jared Fogle. Jared was a college student who claimed to have lost over 200 pounds by eating Subway regularly. Subway turned him into a national spokesperson. Over 15 years, he appeared in hundreds of commercials and became inseparable from the brand. According to Subway executives, that campaign alone accounted for a massive portion of the company's growth during that period. For years, Subway dominated, but dominance masked underlying problems. One of the biggest was overexpansion. With more than 27,000 U.S. locations, Subway stores often competed with each other. In some areas, multiple locations sat within minutes of one another, splitting customer traffic and reducing profitability. The strategy focused on visibility rather than performance. Being the biggest sounded impressive, but when measured by total system-wide sales, Subway lagged behind competitors like McDonald's, Starbucks, and Chick-fil-A. In fact, Chick-fil-A generates significantly higher revenue with far fewer locations. Subway's sales per store were unusually low. Another turning point came with the loss of Fred DeLuca. DeLuca remained deeply involved in the company for decades. He was known to visit restaurants unannounced, sometimes in disguise, to observe operations firsthand. In 2013, he was diagnosed with leukemia. By 2015, operational control shifted to family members, and later that year, DeLuca passed away. Shortly after his death, Subway's sales began to decline. At the same time, the company lost two of its most powerful marketing tools. The Jared campaign collapsed following his conviction in 2015, instantly becoming a liability. The $5 footlong became financially unsustainable as food and labor costs increased, creating tension between corporate leadership and franchise owners. Subway suddenly found itself without a reliable growth engine. Meanwhile, the brand faced repeated reputation challenges. Stories, often exaggerated or misleading, circulated about ingredient quality. Claims about bread size, chicken content, and tuna authenticity spread rapidly online. Even when disproven, the damage lingered. In a crowded sandwich market, perception mattered. Customers who questioned Subway's quality simply went elsewhere. By the late 2000s, the brand felt stagnant. In 2019, Subway hired a new CEO who described the menu as stale. Many offerings hadn't meaningfully changed in years. In response, the company launched the Eat Fresh Refresh initiative, the largest menu overhaul in its history. New sandwiches were introduced, ingredients were upgraded, meat slicers were installed in stores to emphasize freshness. Standardized menu items replaced full customization in some cases. Major athletes were brought in to reintroduce the brand, and corporate compensation structures were updated to attract stronger leadership. In 2023, Subway was sold to private equity firm Roark Capital, ending its long run as a family-controlled business. Today, Subway is smaller than it once was, but potentially more focused. Sales per location have shown signs of improvement, and the company continues to refine its operations. Subway's story isn't about sudden collapse. It's about how simplicity enabled massive growth, and how scale, without discipline, eventually created pressure. Whether the brand fully recovers remains to be seen. If this analysis helped you see business differently, subscribe to Founder Decisions and stay connected for more real-world case studies and decision breakdowns.